Team. I hope everybody's doing well. I don't have a lot for us today, but we do have some things to get done, so let's get to it. We'll start off with SSR. So you need a book to read or magazine, notebook, or journal, something. You need something to read for 20 minutes today. You don't have a journal to do, so we're reading for 20. And then after that, click play and we'll pick back up with DGP. And if you've already done your reading for today, then grab your notes and let's get to it. So here's our sentence. Carla looked at herself in the mirror and recited the poem Fire and Ice. There are a few things we need to do. One, I kind of fixed already. I think it's just a habit to capitalize the first word of the sentence. So that is one thing that we don't have to worry about, but there are a few others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 things kind of that we need to fix. Okay, so pause the video, see if you can figure it out on your own, and when you're ready, click play. All right, so the first thing that we needed to fix was Carla. Okay, capitalize the C in Carla. That is the start of the sentence. If you wrote it down differently, then you would just need to capitalize that. But the 5 things that I mentioned before, so the other 2 would be capitalize the F in fire and the I in ice. You don't capitalize conjunctions in titles unless they're at the start of the title. If they're in the middle of it, you don't really capitalize them. And there's some other words that you don't capitalize as well. But fire and ice, definitely make sure that they start with capital letters. You need a period at the end. And I made a minor boo-boo, but this is a teaching moment for us. So when you have quotation marks, the period actually goes inside of the quotation mark. Okay, so like that. So that's a thing. Oop, I'm sorry, team. Oh my goodness, where are we at? Okay, here we go. So you add quotation marks because it's a poem. It's a short poem. If it was a long poem, like an epic poem similar to the Odyssey, that would actually be italicized or underlined. Because this is a simple short poem, you don't need to do anything other than put it in quotation marks. So pause the video if you need more time to take your notes. And then our next thing we're going to review is the final poem, which is called A Song of Changgan. I listened to several different pronunciations of it, you guys, so y'all just bear with me, but this is by Lipo. The little blurb at the beginning talked about how it's a coming of age story-ish poem. You guys, we went over coming of age structure with our first text, which was Lord of the Flies, right? And the different elements there. And even though this is a shorter work than Lord of the Flies, you can still see some of the connections. It starts off, the young woman is a child. Her hair hardly covered her forehead. And then it goes on, at 14, I became your wife. Now, this seems very odd in our culture, but this is an ancient, set in ancient China. So to get married at such a young age was not uncommon as a typical practice. And then she grows over time. She matures in her thought and as well as in her age. And so that's the basic structure of a coming of age story. So it does certainly fit. Let's keep going. How does the speaker convey to the reader that time is passing? So she references her age several times. And then she uses images related to nature and seasons, and they also show change over time. You know, in the winter, it starts out, and then it goes to spring, and it transitions over time. So that's definitely a way that writers show change of time, and you see that in films as well. Okay, they don't say that the story starts out in the spring and then now we're summer, like you see that in the different elements surrounding the characters in the film. Literature is the same way. All right, what's below is not an important theme of the poem. She has hopes of her husband coming back. Because he's away, she experiences loneliness. And then there's also patience and waiting for him to come back. The only thing you don't really see is greed. So that would be your best answer there, team. Question 3, analyze how the speaker grows and changes over the course of the poem. Anything will work here as long as you have your textual evidence. You can talk about her changing in terms of thought. You can talk about her changing in terms of maturity. You can definitely talk about her changing in terms of the age, right? Any of those would fit that particular question. And then how does the poem above relate to our class text of The Alchemist? So you have this young character who's kind of on this journey of developing from a child into a woman. Even though Santiago is very much a boy, he still is on this journey transitioning from a child to a young man in terms of his thinking. This character mentions like being a wife and a little bit of this aspect of love and waiting on your person to return. And you definitely see that with Santiago and Fatima towards the very end. You kind of see it in the beginning too with Santiago and him like enjoying or liking the merchant's daughter and him wanting to return to her. But you also see it very clearly with Fatima and Santiago. So if you haven't finished the poem or you haven't submitted your answers online, you're waiting on the video, I totally understand that. Now that you know the answers, go through, click, and write your response, okay? And then hit submit. And then come back to the video. Yeah? Yeah. All right, let's go over a few more things. So it is Thursday. I'm not going to update with another video tomorrow. So this is the last video for the week. Still check in tomorrow because I might communicate with you all through a class announcement or through an email. But I'm definitely not doing another video for this week. So don't get sad. Okay. Additional work, you guys, your take-home test for The Alchemist is open at this point. Only one person has submitted it. SSR journals, by the end of our 2-week period, we're supposed to have 6 journals. I have not heard from a lot of you about your journals, so make sure you're getting that done. Actively learn assignments. I just went over that one poem. The other 3 articles I also reviewed. So if you need to go back and look at prior videos, do that. Email me your SSR journals, 5 to 7 sentences. Like I said, you should have 6 done by the end of our 2-week period. And that's coming up very, very soon. And answer the questions. There's some comprehension questions that relate to The Alchemist, and they're shared with you in Classroom. Some of you have done them, not all of you, so that's just a reminder. In terms of updates, I don't have any more at this particular point in time. I know that we'll be back in school around May 15th. If not later. In terms of assignments, I'm still waiting to hear back from county leaders and school leaders about what we're supposed to do with that. As soon as teachers have a chance to figure that out and to develop a plan, I'll let you guys know. But until then, go ahead and get your other assignments done. Email me if you have any questions. And remember, I love you.